splitting bars on a Sunday. That's all I got for so far. But anyways, I got my main man. You know him, you love him. You know him on the East Coast, you know him on the West Coast. You heard about him down south, and you are very aware of him up north. Heavy on the Poppy, light on the Yayo, none other than Poppy Chun Yayo. What's going on, brother?
Yes, sir, man. It was another great weekend for combat sports,
Mm-hmm.
and can't wait to dive into our topics today.
Man, because it was a debut of sorts for both things. We had Top Rank finally making their switch from ESPN to the Zone, having their first car with the businessman Keyshawn Davis and Albright 2 rematch, and that was the first showing on the Zone. Previously on ESPN. Prior to that, they were on HBO, and then you also had MVP doing their first ever MMA promotion on Netflix. That's MVP. They do the female boxing. They basically have the whole female boxing in a chokehold. Every good female fights on MVP. Besides the GWOAT, Clarissa Shields, who does her own thing, getting her own bread. You can see her on the Zone, but. And they also have the Jake Paul fights, and he has a couple other good male boxers. Shout out to Jamal Herring, local guy DMV. Shout out to him, Olympic
Yeah.
fighter. But they debuted on Netflix. And then you also had, like I said, Top Rank on the Zone. So it's a way to kind of compare and contrast how the promotion's going for these fights and how they promoted each fight. I'm going to start with boxing. Only a couple news I have out of boxing. They did say that we're going to have Fury versus Joshua, Tyson Fury versus Anthony Joshua. Finally, 5 years late, that's going to be on Netflix, which is wild to me that it's not going to be on the Zone or anything like that. So it kind of tells you which way who has the money right now, and that whoever has the money, that's where the fights are going to be showed. And the fact that it's going to be on Netflix, everybody's going to watch that fight. I'm talking Catherine at Wegmans on Tuesday is going to watch it. To Margaret going to a Food Line on Monday is going to watch that fight. So it's going to be a worldwide fight. Pretty shocked about that. And other than that, big MMA news was Dana White did his usual cattiness, which I respect. He's petty. Is announcing that Conor McGregor will be back against Max Holloway. Their second fight will be, I think it's in July, but at one of the UFC events. But Conor McGregor is back in MMA. That fight's about 10 years late, but it is what it is. Well, how you feeling? How you feeling, Papa Chunyayo? Let's
Yeah.
wrap about Top Rank.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm a I feel some type of way about a whole lot of stuff right now. And going since we're creating a digital record here, people are going
Mm-hmm.
to be able to go back and see videos that we've recorded previously, and they're going to see that I've stood on business on a lot of different topics, and it just turns out that those things just happen to be true. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, I think it's real funny how these enormous networks that have all this money, they choose these they choose these white villains to be the head of their promotions. Ronda Rousey's a villain. You know what I'm saying? Like when
Mm-hmm.
you hear about Ronda Rousey, what don't she got a bunch of domestic violence cases, right? You
Her
know what I
husband
mean?
do.
Yeah, her too. She
Yeah.
she she'd have beat up a couple of them. you know, uh, Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is he's not on FBI's most wanted list, but he can't come to America because they trying to see him.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just Conor McGregor. I mean, again, Buddy broke into the Madison Square Garden. I don't know how you break into Madison Square Garden and find a dolly to throw through a bus window, but
Oh yeah.
that's like criminal activity. Buddy, you're not from America. Like you supposed to get deported. You know what I mean? You supposed to like lose your access to this country which you've been able to make your
Oh,
money
they were
off
saying
of.
had no to that money.
You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
like I take issue with some of those things. But I mean, again, it seems like the people who got money, they're able to, pass things off and stuff and things of that nature. But
Mm-hmm.
me personally though, if I get tired of it, it's gonna be like, yo, let's write these sponsors. Like, how would you feel if we started boycotting y'all because you guys are putting, you know, really non role model types in your position to get eyes on? Like, y'all need to do better than that.
Well, the Wu said it best, and cash rules everything around me. So
Cream get the, that's
whoever got
right.
the cash, they ruling everything, and we all know that they put certain people in place to where that person could be influential to the youth and to their fans. And um, it's the marketing dollars go behind certain people. Some of our favorite fighters were never marketed correctly because they weren't flashy or they weren't wild and crazy or brass like others. Back in the day, a couple years ago, Andre Ward was my favorite fighter. No
Yeah,
one, a normal
that's
person, did not know
that's
who Andre
OG.
Ward was. Nobody knew who he was. This man dominated as a Super Six tournament. You know what I'm saying? Went up and beat Chad Dawson. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Stopped Kovalev, and Kovalev was nothing to be messed with. And
The
then when Triple
Crusher.
G had his chance to move up, he didn't want to move up until later on when he got demolished by Canelo. But that's the thing. Marketing dollars go behind certain people. You know what I'm saying? And depending on what complexion for the protection, it could be you're brash, you're outgoing, you're rude, you're flashy, you're this, or you could just have moxie and you're just a guy that with rhythm and you're cool in the gang, like someone like McGregor, opposed to someone like Mayweather when they kind of did the same thing, but Mayweather was always the villain. McGregor's the look at this Irish guy doing cool stuff. So it's like that in sports in football as well. You see a certain quarterback, uh, Michael Vick. Like, oh, he runs, he does this a lot, and then you see another quarterback who might run with a different complexion, like a Jackson Dart, and they're like, oh, he has a lot of moxie. He's creative. So yeah, we see it's annoying. It's annoying, but
Yeah.
Top Rank on the Zone. It was the first boxing card on the Zone. We had a DB3. Uh, the Davis brothers, all three of them fought on this card, all three victorious. Um, I thought there was a lack of promotion, and I understand why because the last debacle that happened when he didn't make weight, and he had trouble making weight this time. What are your thoughts on the promotion for this fight?
Yeah, I agree with you. There doesn't seem to be the same sort of energy that's put behind fighters like the kid Boots is getting ready to fight, for example.
Oh,
You
Xander.
know, yeah, Xander Zayas. Like
Mm-hmm.
you don't see that same sort of level. I don't want to I don't want to make excuses um,
Mm-hmm.
for the Davis brothers because they do still have a little bit of they still have a little they need some media training in some ways. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's some things image wise that they need to clean up in order for them to be more appealing to sponsors and stuff like that. There are some things that could be done better, but at the end of the day, Buddy's a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
He has the disposition of a fighter, not a person you want to be screwing around with out here in the streets. You know what I mean? And you have to take that with the same grain of salt. But you know, regardless of the outside issues that he's had, he's never put on a poor performance, right?
Oh, never.
So you'll see somebody like a Conor McGregor who's had several poor performances. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's gotten beat up pretty good, but they'll put more into the promotion behind him. Like you didn't see Keyshawn going out there slapping drinks out of old men's hands, and again, breaking into Madison Square Garden and committing assault on people. You haven't seen those things, but when you listen to the promotion, like even before the guys weighed in, there was this whole narrative. It's like I said it on our last show. You had the guy who socked this old lady out in the elevator, right?
Mm-hmm.
And every time you hear his name, the thing uh, that meets before his name is, oh, such and such who knocked his wife out in the elevator. And they called him a domestic violence dude. That sort of thing. But you don't get those same, uh, I don't even know what to call it. Prefixes,
Yeah.
prefixes to their name as everybody else. Is just when they talk about us, they talk about us based off the negative things we've done, and they
Mm-hmm.
don't just let it slide. But you will have a Ryan Garcia fight, and you won't even hear them mention drug cheat, miss weight.
Yeah.
You won't hear those things, right? And it's like they're they're cleaning somebody's image. They're whitewashing somebody's image that doesn't deserve to be whitewashed.
Yeah, and that happens across the board, and I really about the like Teofimo Lopez and the Garcias, the stuff they do outside the ring. Not only just missing weight and being a drug cheat, just the racial jokes. You know what I'm saying? We just saw the guy in what was it Nashville, the Chud the Builder guy. Reality came for him for doing
Got
stuff like
him.
that. You know what I'm saying? Now the guy's what, attempted murder. He's is on charge for that. He's on trial for that. But it's like when it comes to sports, the main thing when it comes to sports is all about promotion. And
Yep.
after promotion is how you're being depicted by the announcers when your fight or whatever it is you're doing is going on. How they picture you is how the fans receive you. Okay, so
Yeah.
say if it's two guys and one guy got caught shoplifting when he was 8 years old, and they keep going back to that one story when he was
Yep.
8 years old, opposed to someone else who maybe body slammed his wife. Oh, he didn't, but maybe say he body slammed his wife, but he went to class, he went to school, he got training, he's better than that. They might focus in on the guy who stole a Kit Kat when he was 8 years old instead of the other guy because he's reformed. So it's all about perception and how they do it. And these announcers are big on that. That's why I like when Shakur had called out Mike Coppinger when he
That's right.
called him a boring fighter, and he's like, "No, you're a terrible reporter." So I like when fighters kind of stand up to that type of rhetoric, and they're aware of it. Only a few fighters I know have done that, like Shakur. Devin Haney has done it a few times. Bill Haney does it all the time. He'll call the
Yep.
people out, but I think fighters need to start doing that more, and also promotion. How somebody being promoted. I will say this: Abdullah Mason, they're starting promotion on him. I'm looking online. I'm seeing a lot of good stuff on his promotion when he hopefully sells out the arena in Cleveland for his main event on July 4th weekend. So I don't know if this. I would think for Top Rank's first card, they would go all out on the zone, but it seemed like this is like all right. We're gonna test the water. We're gonna dip our toe in the zone, see how it is, and then do it for other fight. I'm kind of on the fence of maybe they did this because the last debacle with Keyshawn when he was the highest of the high, he has sold out to join his first fight. He was the
Yeah.
king of Norfolk. You know what I'm saying? And we were ready to have his first title defense. Brady brought the belt home after winning it in Madison Square Garden. So this is going to be, hey, you're back home. Everyone's going to show up and show out. And for some reason, they kind of had training wheels with this promotion, but they didn't have
Yeah.
training wheels on the prices of tickets. Please talk to me about that.
Oh, wait. Oh, God, bro. I'm telling you. So, again, so it's like, okay, you said money talks, right? It does.
Mm-hmm.
So when Keyshawn did have his one event here, I think it was like a New Year's Eve event, bro. Like everybody and their mama was there, man. It was packed all the way out, and they was charging the type of prices that they were asking for this time. We're
Mm.
talking about all the nosebleed seats at a minimum price was like 140, $150. And if you look closely at the fight, which I always do, that whole
Mm-hmm.
top section was pretty much empty. You could
Yeah.
see a few spots here and there, and vet tickets, right? For all of us that are veterans that have the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to go get some tickets, Top Rate gave them 1,000 tickets, right?
Damn.
They gave vet tickets 1,000 tickets, and them
1,000.
1,000, bro.
Jeez.
The arena, the Scope Arena holds 10,200
Yeah.
for a boxing event, and 10% of that was given away for vet ticks, right? And then the
That's
rest of those
crazy.
nosebleeds were just empty, bro. And it's just like, okay, so here's the thing: we've heard Bob Arum say in the past that he's lost money on Bud
But
Crawford and
yeah.
blah blah blah. He was saying these things, right? But what's not to say that them having prices like that is not a tactic to make a fighter look bad as
Mm-hmm.
far as selling the place out, right? Because I know them Ryan Garcia tickets was going for $20 and $40. So you can
Mm-hmm.
pack the place out when the tickets is $20 and $40. But when you're talking about just for some regular average Joe seats for a couple was costing $600 to $900 for some regular for a pair of tickets,
You
right? It's
can't
like, come on, can't do that.
can't do that, and especially in a hometown like Norfolk doesn't have a major
Yep.
sporting team. So a lot of people in the community will go. They will show up to stuff like this. They have a minor leagues hockey team that plays in that same arena, and they show up for that. They have the Norfolk Tides, the baseball. I think it's the Orioles affiliate. They go to those games, but you cannot charge that much because you look at Bud's early fights when he was fighting in Nebraska, and when he was at the stadium where the Nebraska basketball team, he had that place jam packed. You know what I'm
Sold out.
saying? So you can't do that in places like smaller markets like a Norfolk or let's just say Nebraska, or something like that. You have to be modest when it comes to these ticket prices. If you want 10,000 people to show up to support you, you're going to need to look at the economy. Gas prices are like $7 a gallon out in California in some places. You know what I'm saying? So people just don't have the ends to just spend money on elective things like this. So top ranking. They got to take that in consideration. I don't know if that's why I said before. I don't know if it was like a setup or they're just doing it just to do it or just training wheels. Because I know they're going to go all out for Zayas and Boots. We know that.
Yep.
They're going to go all out for. What? Abdullah Mason's gonna be the first test for me. How they're gonna do Abdullah Mason because that's gonna be 4th of July weekend. They're gonna want to sell out and showcase the youngest champion right now in boxing. They're gonna want to
Right.
do that in his first fight home when he brought the belt back from Saudi Arabia when he won it. So I'm assuming they're gonna want to do that because they're gonna want to market him. But
Yeah.
as far as the fight card, if you pay that much money, do you think this top rank card lived up to the bill?
No, not
I
even
agree.
close.
I agree.
Not even close. And I don't. I'm not. I'm not here. I'm not trying. I don't want to knock the fighters or anything like
Hmm.
this. But the matchmaking. The matchmaking was a little bit sketch. And you had Buddy who was fighting Brian Norman Jr. and he was talking hella crap, but he didn't come to fight at all, bro. He was talking so much. I was like, oh, well, Buddy finna get in there and try to do something. He didn't try to do nothing. Brian Norman put them jabs on Buddy, and he was like, oh, this motherfucker fast. Yeah, he fast. Yeah, he
Yeah.
fast. You
And the
know.
problem with that is when I hear Sergio Morris say, first of all, why is there a timeout in boxing? Second, this is all around. This is like so watching the tank fight all over again. Like you get Jericho juice in your eye, and then it's like, all right, timeout. Let me wipe my eye. What? You can't do that. No, get out of here.
Yeah.
Uh, One that. Two, the movement dude was making when he got hit was like Sergio Morris said. Has this guy ever boxed before? This is
Yeah.
amateur hour type stuff. You know,
Yep.
turning your back and things like that. You see that in and shout out to street beefs. You see that and stuff like that, or when like fights, unorganized fights on the street or something like that, or newbies.
Yep.
The things that this dude did. You talk so much shit in the weigh-in because Brian Norman missed weight and then he made weight after he had like the 2 hours or whatever. He came in, at the proper weight, but you're like, oh, this guy disrespected me. He's not coming in. I'm gonna make him pay tomorrow. I'm gonna make him pay. Canada, homeboy didn't represent. He did not. Canadians. I don't know, Lynch Lou, if you claiming them sometimes or not, whatever. Lushan Butte, y'all need to get your boy because he ain't represent.
Yeah.
He ain't represent Canada well because I mean, I thought Brian Norman knocked a tattoo off him.
Man.
It's embarrassing. And then
Yeah,
to say the
he
shoulder.
did, buddy.
Come on, bro.
He did, man. No, what it was, Buddy he was knocked out. I mean, he didn't want to get up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what was the referee doing? Right? I mean, that was 10 seconds to me. That was a 10
Yeah,
count. He wasn't all the way up. So and he
9.
clearly didn't want to fight.
Come up. Like what? Yeah. He just got a check, and
Yep.
it was a showcase fight for Brian Norman, trying to get him back
Hmm.
in the championship ways. I feel like just to play. If I'm playing Clubber D, the matchmaker, uh, if Shakur and if Devin both sign with Zufa, then you can do the Conor Ben. You can do stuff over there. That leaves Brian Norman, who's number 5 in WBC.
Hmm.
He should have that title shot against Ryan Garcia if what I'm saying they want to make a real fight for Ryan Garcia because I know Ryan Garcia is trying to fight Conor Ben, but don't nobody want to see that fight.
Yeah.
He
I mean,
he was
they're
starching.
making all these catch weight fights and stuff. This point, no, the weight is 147. That's what the weight is.
Yeah,
That's where the title's at 147. So y'all got to fight at 147. That's how it's
it's
supposed to be, right?
100%, 100%, 100%. I'm with you. I feel like these. I don't want to go too much into the Muhammad Ali Act because that is a big topic, but one of the main things is what the type of corruption that's going on between the belts right now. How you're going to strip Boots. I think it's the regular champion, one of them belts. They're going to strip him because he wants to fight Xander. You know, you strip Shakur's WBC when he fights for WBO. WBC has nothing to do with that. Okay, there's so
Right.
much corruption within the belt system. Unfortunately, that's why, like it or love it, there needs to be another, entity because this corruption shit's been going on too long, far too long. The sanctioning
Yeah.
fees. Zuffa
Yeah.
Zuffa Boxing doesn't have sanctioning fees. The ring magazine with Zuffa, they're not going to have sanction. They don't have sanctioning fees. So that's a problem with what's already here is that the corruption. Where and I think more fighters need to be like a Bud, be like a Shakur. Talk about and I think Boot said something about it. Why are you stripping this away when I'm trying to get this? Like it makes no sense. And
Yeah.
you WBC, you got Benavidez, who's the number one contender for years and never got to touch Canelo. Why is that possible? So that's the type of
Yeah.
corruption that we need to stop right now. So Zufas wouldn't come up. You know what I'm saying? People like that wouldn't say we need to fix boxing. It should already be fixed, but it's already the greed and corruption is messed everything up.
It's because the WBC, the these world level belts are
Hmm.
being tied to nationalism of whatever country that's running that belt. So obviously Maurice Suleiman is he's Mexican, right?
Hmm.
So they want Mexicans to represent the belt. No, buddy, it's a world it's a world class level belt. It's not the
That's true.
Mexican belt, right? And so that's the thing. You start seeing some funny business with that, and then God forget a black person says some racist things are happening, but what you see is favoritism, you see prejudice, you see racism, you see all of those things within the sport based off of who they want to be the champion. It's not about who you want to be the champion. It's about who's the best fighter, right? If you want the best fighter to have the belt, then I don't even know, man. Boxing is not a sport anymore to me.
Yeah,
It
it's
doesn't it
it's
doesn't seem like a sport anymore to me. I used to think it was a sport, but the older I get and the more that I watch, I'm starting to see that it actually technically really isn't a sport. It's more like sports and entertainment, heavy on the entertainment side.
that's all it is. I mean, and it kind of goes to the point I said earlier. Shout out to Champ Ross, tuning in. That's the boxing league. I'm creeping up. I'm creeping up. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm only 40 from the top. Pause if that sounded weird. I'm only 40. I'm gonna get there, but I'm kind of. It's kind of like what I said earlier about Andre Ward. It's all about it. If Andre Ward would have been cool if he would have had gold fronts and spinning rims at the time and would have talked like he ain't had no sense. That's
Yep.
unfortunately how boxing is. Adrian Broner, when he was on the high, I was a big Broner fan too. He was the man back then
Yo,
when he's
for
having his
sure.
pops Coleman's hair and everything. I was with that, but that made him, got him over the top. It's the Mayweather effect. Everybody knows the Mayweather effect, and I'm not even gonna fault Mayweather because Muhammad Ali was a showman too. You know what I'm saying? So
Hmm.
you got to have that type of the showman stuff with you when it comes to that stuff. Let me what did my man uh, Champ Ross say here? He said, "Let me get more tuned in MMA side of things. Are you seeing what I'm saying as far as that, Jake? Okay, yeah. Um, when it comes to that stuff, I was gonna say this later, but I'll say it now. Francis Ngannou kind of called out MVP because a lot of people think that Jake Paul is the man. He said no 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 no. I hate to do his accent, but he's like he was like no 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 no. Jake Paul just face. He's partner up just face. What's the guy's name? Nakasha. That's
Yeah.
him. It's like Zuffa. Zuffa has their executives. Dana White was always the promoter and the face and the president. And we just think that Jake Paul is the man. I just realized what Francis Ngannou just pulled the curtains. Basically, like Jake Paul's just a face. He ain't nobody. He ain't
That's right.
nobody. He is just a face because Jake Paul will not step in that ring with Francis Ngannou. You see how he was kind of
Right.
skittish. We talk about MMA. And he's like, "Oh no, it's your night." Talking to him and Mike Perry, but stay on the side, Jake Paul. Just be
Yeah.
a face. Be a face. And I was happy that they said that because that I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong. Nikisha, he's been at a lot of the events that Jake Paul hasn't been at. So I figured that he was the guy. He was
Hmm.
the head person, kind of like the Fertitta brothers and Dana White. So I think that sooner or later Jake Paul's going to move to the back end, really, and it's going to be more fighter friendly. Because I'll give Jake Paul doesn't jump on stage acting like Puff Daddy. He's more Suge Knight, but now it's kind of seeing that he's not really the main guy at MVP. He's just a face, and I was actually happy to see that that he's just a face. And
I think he's more like Buff Daddy. If
no,
you know, all in the video
as
dancing.
long as he ain't saying shit, I'm good. But
But see,
Chip
see,
Ross, you're right
man,
about this.
so there's another example of that. Everybody thought Dr. Dre was the one who got the $4 billion deal. No, Dr. Dre was the face
Yeah.
of Beats by Dre.
Hmm.
Jimmy Iovine is the one who got the bread, right?
That
Dr.
man's
Dre
best was
got a he
money
got
off
a
hustle.
nice little cut. He got a nice little cut, but it's us. We're what Kendrick Lamar says. He says you can't fake influence,
Hmm.
right? Yeah, ain't none of these dudes doing this stuff without using, certain people's tactics and style and
Oh
grace and the
yeah.
way we do things. You guys are just imitating at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? The original creators aren't getting credit for the things that they do. You guys get excited about Korean pop, for example. All that is 90s
Yeah.
R&B.
Yeah, that's
It's
that number
90s
new
R&B.
edition. That's a proven thing. That
Yeah,
ain't
that's
number new
it.
edition and all them. Bell Biv DeVoe. That's all.
Yeah.
And they have a big following of I don't know if it's China or Korea. Just a sidebar. They have a big following of like lowrider, like cholo
Hmm.
lifestyle. They're like people look just
Yeah.
like Mexicans
Man,
and
listen,
tatted
when
up and
I
everything.
when I was stationed in Korea, bro, I seen they pretty much decide what they're gonna do for their life, when they're
Hmm.
young, like before 10, right? So when I was in Korea, man, I used to break dance and things like that. So those kids would that's what they did all day long. They'd wake up, they'd go to the
Hmm.
studio and practice, they go get something to eat, they go back to the studio and practice, go get something to eat, go home, take a nap, and then at nighttime they'd be out at the clubs battling each other, right? And they
Hmm.
got so good at, imitating and perfecting the things that we do that it looks great, but at the
Yeah.
end of the day, what you see missing is they're not interpreting the beat or the music. They're going through the motions of the actual precision elements in it, and they
Right.
execute them to the T, but they ain't got that soul that just,
That oomph.
where you just create something right off top. No, you're doing some stuff that you practice. You're not creating nothing right now. You're doing something that
Just
you copy. So yeah, something's missing,
just
and
rehearse,
now
just
y'all know what it
rehearsing,
is.
going through the motions.
Yeah.
And I showed this comment. I'm gonna show it again because this besides Brian Norman Jr.,
Hmm.
besides him, and besides I would say the slam in round seven, and the last three rounds, this was kind of a boring card.
Yeah.
Keyshawn looked good. And the brothers are kind of like the Greek freak. They come along with it. You trade one, you trade for Giannis, you got to take the other two. You know what I'm saying, or the
Yeah.
other ones. It is what it is, and I kind of, I kind of agree with that. Was it's Kelvin, right? Kelvin Davis, the one with the
There's
braids.
Kia. So
Keon
there's
and Kelvin.
Keon was the one he fought early at the beginning of the card.
He's talented. He's not
Kel.
bad.
Yeah, I think they probably should have switched him and Kelvin.
Yeah. Kelvin, he's the oldest, and it's like I think we know where we are with him.
Yep.
Not to throw any stones, but it's just with him and his fight, dude. You got the length. I need to see. I want a jab. I need. There's something about lanky fighters. I like to fight on the inside. The only one that I rocked with that did that was it's Terrence Crawford because he could do it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
But it's a big order right there. I think I saw a comment and I agree. I feel like Keyshawn should get back with Bomac
Mm.
because I think it's his father or grandfather training right now. It's not bad, but he's taught at the end of the fight. He said, "I hate making weight, 147, da da da." He might move up. Um, if he calls out Devin Haney, it's gonna be a long night for him. I don't think he should not. I hope he doesn't call out Haney again. Um, there's a couple things I think Keyshawn needed to do to adjust, but now here Albright, the dude was game, and this is his first time going 12 rounds. I didn't think he was going to be able to get him up out of there because Albright's just one of those fighters where they're hard to fight, hard to figure out sometimes. Just the awkwardness, and then he was doing a lot of clinching. The ref didn't really help out.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
uh, I thought his performance was a solid B. It was a good performance. I thought, I thought to see a little more out of him, but maybe this is a reserved Keyshawn. So, but how'd you think of his performance?
I got to talk about the thing as in its totality
Hmm.
because it from the lead up to the fight to the way that the announcers and the commentary called stuff to the way that the production was working, all of those things pretty much create an environment or an event for the people who are at home that are watching.
Right.
They're creating this thing that's supposed to be they're supposed to be presenting to the people an amazing thing. I got to say this about Chris Mannix, bro. I don't fuck with dude, bro.
He's the
He's like the college boy who gets to go to college and sneak girls behind the dumpster and take shit from them, and
what?
then his dad gets him out of trouble. Like, well, it's gonna ruin his career. The affluenza type commentary that he provides is like he's unsmackable, right? That's how he talks.
He's like Christian Bale
And
from Shaft. I got you.
yeah, bro. Listen. If you guys are coming to a black city, you're coming to a place that's going to be predominantly black. How about you give us Sean Porter, Andre Ward, and Roy Jones as commentary because you guys missed the mark on a
Hmm.
lot of stuff. You're not catching things that we see, and the way that you're presenting it is unfair to us because the whole night you're talking about, oh, missing weight, blah 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 blah. But you know what? Buddy didn't miss weight.
He
He
did
didn't
it.
miss weight. You guys aired a live weigh-in, which you guys haven't done for a year. Usually they do the weigh-ins in the morning, and a lot of people will be point 1, point 2, half a pound off, but they get an opportunity to
Hmm.
make the weight the second time around. So when you're putting a narrative out that says a person missed weight and they're still in the process of they got their 2 hour window, you've already, bro. Even Wavy News, Wavy TV, Wavy 10 News put out an article that said Keyshawn Davis misses weight, blah 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 blah. It's inaccurate, right? Yeah, it took him 2 times to make the weight, but he didn't miss weight, so that's an inaccurate statement. Furthermore, I got to put this out there because this this proves the points that I'm making, right?
Hmm.
There was a card that happened in England. I forgot where it was at in England, and the first the first 6 fights, I got to read this off. Steven Jackson versus John Leary, contracted weight 115. Jackson comes in 117 and a half. Leary comes in 117.13. The second match, second two people come to the stage. Buddy was a no-show. Okay, so we didn't get the weight on that. The third person that came in, Les Uri and Keon Hamilton, contracted weight 135. Fighters weighed in 136.2, 137.3. By the way, this is a ceremonial weigh-in, so they never actually made weight. Okay.
What?
Next fight. One of the Fell twins, Carl Fell versus Luis Montelongo.
Hmm.
Contracted weight 154. Fell comes in 158.5. Montelago comes in at 155.1. Both fighters overweight. Very next fight, Ryan Frost versus Joe Hayden, 147 pounds is the limit. Weight, Frost weight 149. Joe Hayden weight 148.6. The very next one, an Olympian, gold medalist, blah 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 blah.
Hmm.
Contracted weight 147. His opponent Torres came in at 144.12 pounds, fighting in the 147 division.
And Pacquiao.
The Olympian dude, the Ashka Duha Mudahija Hawan or whatever his name is,
Something.
came in at 150.11, right? And not a single comment, not one, not a single comment about people being overweight. Oh, blah 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 blah. Uh, 6 in a row, bro. We could pull that up and add something to it later. But if you go back and watch that weigh in, I was in the comments like, wait a minute, are there weight classes? Oh, y'all don't want to talk about how all these guys are missing weight? Like, what's up with that? Like, what are we doing here? Both of them being aired on the zone. Is,
Huh.
so what's good for the goose ain't good for the gander. All them dudes miss weight. Keyshawn didn't miss weight. Brian Norman didn't miss weight.
Yeah, they made weight. Yeah.
Before they could actually make weight, there's 100 videos up with people all over the internet talking using talking points. Oh, such and such missed weight, such and such missed weight, and then that was all they was talking about, bro. So I got a problem with that.
Do you
I do.
think? Do you think? Because Keyshawn posted on Instagram, which this probably goes to what you were saying about the proper like training for media training. Because
Hmm.
remember, he posted that video when he was doing that ginger bath, saying making weight is the worst type stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that helped his cause
Right.
when he said that because it's kind of you're going with you're trying to look for an excuse why you didn't make weight. And whatever why he made weight, obviously, but you hear what I'm saying? It's kind of like you're feeding into the negativity by saying if I miss weight by point 0.3, so and I
Right.
got 2 3 hours to make weight, and I'm in a sauna, I'm not gonna post a picture of me in a sauna and complain saying making weight's the worst, but it's part of the job. I would just shut up and get in the sauna and come out and make weight. That's just me.
Right.
That's
Right.
that's where that media training, because you know what they're gonna do with that. The second someone sees you talking about complaining about making weight after you're over by a small bit, they're gonna use whatever stuff you put out there against you and say that, well, maybe you just got to move over. Maybe you did it. You're just unprofessional. You're this. You're that. That's the that's the media training stuff you're talking about that they're gonna
Yeah.
need, and also the commentary. I was gonna say this later, but I'll say it now. I am so happy that Mauro Ranello is back doing the MMA. He was Pride FC back in the day in Japan. He's at
Hmm.
NXT. He's done boxing. He is one of my favorite commentators. And the fact that why I like him is because what you mentioned about Mannix and Sergio Mora. They said, "Oh, Pusha T's in the crowd. What's your favorite? Is that your favorite artist, Sergio Mora?" Trying to catch him,
Yeah,
see
let
if
me
he
get
doesn't know
yeah,
what
let
that
me
is.
get some bars.
Yeah, he goes, "Oh, I like the clips." That's all he can say. But when they're playing Dre, when they're playing Snoop, Mar Ranello is saying the lyrics from old school
Yeah.
hip hop because he
Yeah.
knows wherever he's at, he's going to adapt and do his research. And he's a hip hop head, anyways. I've,
Yeah.
I've heard this man spit off Wu Tang lyrics, but that's why I love Mar Ranello. Wherever they're at, and if the music they're playing is for the people in the crowd, he's going to point that out to the audience that are listening. He's one of my favorite commentators because he's good at everything that he does. He gets very excited, he gets into it. Mannix and Sergio Mora, it's like watching paint dry sometimes. You know what I'm saying? They're so
Yeah.
monotone and just okay. Oh, that's a
Yeah,
jab.
man.
Here's a jab in two
Man.
rounds. What? Get out of here, man. Shut up.
And
So,
Mannix be talking greasy to Sergio Mora. I was like, man, if I was Sergio Mora, I'd slap the shit out of Buddy off camera. Like, man, you need to watch how you talking to me on camera.
yeah.
You got me looking bad out here, man. You need to fix a few things. You know what I mean? But I want to say something positive because
Hmm.
Keyshawn, both fighters, Albright came out to a cold song. Like I
Yeah.
love the fact that both of them came out to gospel music. I
Hmm.
do. I love the fact that both of them came out. I love the fact that he put his sisters on and his
I was just
sisters
about to say
came
that.
out
Yep.
and sang that song. I love that, man. That was inspiring to me. I appreciated it, and that's kind of really the only thing that could keep some of us rowdy people in line is some good gospel music to remind us of where we come from. You know what I mean? So I thought that was the brightest spot of the whole night for everything. But Keyshawn fight, referee, bro, come on, bro. Like you gotta take control of the fight. You should have been taking points. You should have been doing some hard. We should have grabbed them, called a timeout, be like, listen, man, you guys are putting on a ridiculous show. Let's keep it clean. XYZ. I think Keyshawn's trainer. I said I fuck with Keyshawn, but I think his trainer should have been like, "Hey, man, let's just get to business, man. Knock all that extra stuff off, man. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead and get him up out of here. Let's make this statement. You see the top rows. I would have been, I'd have like, hey, man, take a second. Look up there in the top rows. All them seats right there should be filled up.
Hmm.
So you need to do something to make the fans want to go fill them seats up. You know what I mean?
You gotta
So,
you gotta remember.
yeah, bro.
You gotta remember, bro. Like his first fight down there, he had Pernell Whitaker's marching band from his high school
Mm-hmm.
bring him
Yep.
out. He had his sisters do the national anthem and whatnot.
Yep.
And like I was gonna mention, like perfect, for example, they sang and he shout out his sisters as well. So he is trying to incorporate the family, which is great. But
Yep.
you had the whole from Northern Virginia on. You had all of Virginia on your side after that first showing, and then the second
Yep.
showing, we saw
We
what
got what
happened.
we got.
Now this was the bounce back, and now you're realizing I need to earn everybody's trust again. I
That's
thought
right.
that he did earn it later in the fight. He was doing his
Mm-hmm.
thing, but then when he body slammed him in the seventh, I was like, oh, come on, bro. Like, he literally won every round besides maybe the one he took the 2 points. But Keyshawn,
Yeah.
he looked good,
Yeah.
but he just,
Yeah.
and I like the fact that later in the rounds, the 10th, 11th, and 12th, he was trying to get him up out of there. He wasn't just trying to
Yep.
cruise. He was trying to get him up out of there. I'm a big Keyshawn fan, so I was happy to see that. But again, it's not the performance that we thought we'd see. Most of us, especially the crowd there, they want to see a dazzling knockout. But hopefully, I personally think he's going to move up because the way he was talking, the way he's already hinting at, 140 is not mine. If you think about it, if Shakur stays at 140, he's not gonna fight, bro. So he called out Haney before. He's already said that this making weight stuff's the worst, so he's probably gonna move up anyways. 147 would be interesting if they try to do a Norman versus Keyshawn. I'd love to see that. I'd
Man,
probably pay. I might pay a premium to see that in person. If that's his first fight at 147, because he could
yeah,
challenge for a belt, for a WBO belt. I think that's Haney anyway. That's why I called him out anyways. But if they say, hey, do you want to get Norman? I would love to see that fight.
man, you know who the target. Rolly is the target for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If he's Rolly at 140, but Rolly
Yeah,
he PBC, so they can't.
147. I'm talking about
Well, yeah, he's
147.
147. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You're right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
hey, Keyshawn versus Rolly. You know what I
But you
mean?
gotta play. You gotta play by the PBC rules though, and that's why
Yeah,
Haney
that's a
wasn't doing it
banger.
because of the money. The money was a little
Yeah,
funny. It's well, top ranking out. They got to talk. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
They'll be able to talk. But that
yeah.
was this just to put a mediocre bow on this top rank to the zone present. I thought it was just lackluster. I was hoping for more at their initial fight card on the zone, but it's just I don't know, top rank. The last fight they had, Xander Zayas fighting on what was that, Mihente or Black Planet or something like that. They had
Yeah.
the last fight was on some type of app. I think it was on Tubi or something like that. I don't know, but at least they're back. Top rank's back with a major network, and the zone has everybody but Zuffa, but they kind of got Zuffa. Yes, and it's weird. Turkey Al Sheik owns the zone boxing in the ring. The ring is with Zuffa, and TKO, who Turkey is partners with, owns Zuffa. So Turkey's hands are really in everything. But I'm just glad everybody, we just got to get PBC along to hop over to the zone, and we can finally get all the fights we want, like Benavidez and so and so. But to like I said, to put a bow on this mediocre present, top rank in the zone, a big, could have been better. Shout out to DB3, and next showcase you guys should be show out this time. But I want to move over to the MMA side of things, where we had MVP making their MMA debut on Netflix. And when I tell you promotion, the opposite of what we just saw is what they did at MVP when they did at the Intuit the Zone arena for I think that's where the Clippers play, where they got the little lights on the seats and whatnot, and they had the pyro and they had MMA legends like John Jones, Anderson Silva. I saw Big John McCarthy, the old school ref. He was down there checking the fires before they went in. This was a promotion that wants to do things with their promotion. They said this is probably not a one-off. This was the test, and the numbers are getting already are through the roof. And they didn't have to showcase the best of the best. If you look at the age of some of these people, you got Francis Ngannou, who's 39. He went against Felipe
Yeah.
Lins, who was 40. You got Ronda Rousey, 39. Gina Carano, 44. You got Junior Dos Santos. He's what, 41. So
Yeah.
Nate Diaz is like 40, 38 or 40, something like that. Mike Perry might be 36 or whatever. So these people
they
aren't
put a
young, but the
they
fans are
put
still there.
a AARP card.
Pretty much. And the fans
And
came out.
killed
They
it.
showed up and showed
That's
out for
right.
this fight. And one, I would like to say, first person that need to sit your old ass down. I love you are one of the MMA greats. Junior Dos Santos. You fought a Cuban missile and what's his name? Daspani, I think that's how you pronounce his name. You fought Wesley Snipes from Demolition Man, okay? The brother with the blonde, yeah, the Cuban. You got this is your ninth knockout. Junior Dos Santos. Love you like a play cousin. Sit your old ass down and commentate. You can't, it ain't for you. Just stop. You're scrambling what's left up in there, okay? Another person, we'll talk about the fights, but another person, one of the most overrated fighters in the history of MMA. I don't care what anyone says. Besides Jorge Masvidal, Nate Diaz is one of the most overrated fighters, okay? Yes, you are down to fight everybody. You're the BMF champ. I'm giving you all that. You do all the tough stuff around the nerds. And you know what I'm saying? You're down to fight anybody, anytime. Cool, I'm with that. But just because you're down to fight anybody every time and you never win, that doesn't make you great. It just doesn't. Okay, that is you're a tough. I don't want to say a tough gatekeeper, but goddamn, Nate Diaz, Jesus Christ, you were gassed after the first round. Having to,
Yeah.
did you see in the second round when he grabbed the cage and do a
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels super kick?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? What are we doing? I mean, him and his
Well,
brother.
you know, it's the name, bro. It's
Yeah.
the name puts cheeks in seats. You
Mm-hmm.
know, anytime the Diaz brothers are gonna show up, bro. You know what? Those dudes used to do triathlons.
Yep.
There were both of them was both some of the most well conditioned athletes the sport's ever seen with them doing those triathlons.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems like that that era it's over. It's over. But
A lot of that.
yeah, they keep man they keep filling the seats up.
Yeah.
They keep
They,
packing it out
they want to see him fight because they know,
until the fans be like, man, trying to see this old dude go at it.
bro. You because I think he's 0-2 in boxing because he lost to Masvidal and he lost to Jake Paul.
Hmm.
I think his last MMA fight was maybe 2022 when Masvidal. So I know it was a no. His last one was a win. Tony Ferguson. Okay, it was a win, but Tony Ferguson was past his prime. I think he can still do MMA. I thought he was going to beat Mike Perry, just take him down and submit him because he likes to stand up, but Nate's amazing on the ground. His jiu-jitsu is ridiculous. So I thought that was
Yeah, I
gonna be a
thought
wrap.
that's what I was
Yeah,
looking
it's
for too.
yeah. Once he gets on the ground, his pressure is punching. But when you get some when he I notice when he gets around somebody that can box decent or semi well, it's a wrap because his face he has so much scar tissue. He bleeds
Yep.
so easy, and Masvidal proved that he was soft to the stomach. And it was a bunch of times where Perry hit him. He hunched over and like, oh, I'm done. But man, I got that cut up here, had the cut right here, nose was like leaking. I was like, yeah, bro, just you 40 years old, man. Just go ahead and stop, man. Ain't no need for this. Mike Perry's a dog. He doesn't care. He'll fight anybody anytime. Doesn't matter if it's boxing, MMA, bare knuckle fighting. He's gonna do it. It's kind of like your boy Paulie. I don't know if you saw the clip of Paulie fighting over the weekend.
Yeah, Paulie in his bare knuckle game. Hey
Oh,
man, Paulie be showing up to the pro boxing with that brand new plastic surgery.
bro, I saw him. I was right. Like, shout out to Ray from
Yeah.
Urban Sports. Ray interviewed him. I was trying to get Paulie, but he talked to one dude, but he was just like, I'm out of here. Just like Chris Algieri was talking to live with Light Skin Lou. Shout out to him. He was cool, but Paulie was like, all right, guys, boom, and Ray had to get the interview
Yeah.
while like walking with him through the casino and whatnot. But man, I didn't know he was that little. First time seeing him in person, I did not know he was that small. And you are not lined up. The amount of makeup and stuff they put on their face to make him look uh presentable, even though you're doing
Yeah.
commentating. Like I mean,
Crazy.
gashes right here,
Yep.
and it's like, God damn, man. Like, why? Stop
Yeah.
fighting. If you're good, just don't do bare knuckle. That his face looks. Ooh,
Yeah, bare knuckle. That's one thing you gonna get guaranteed. Somebody eye socket hanging out, just like an eyebrow gone. You know what I mean? Like every fight, it's just bloody.
yeah, I can't. That's just too much. And I mean, before we get to the Ronda Rousey fight, they announced Conor McGregor fighting when Francis Ngannou was coming out, and they announced Francis Ngannou as the lineal heavyweight champion. They're saying that because he was still champion when he left the UFC, kind of like how when
Mhm.
BJ Penn had left back in the day. He is technically really still the champ. It's just that financial obligations is the reason why he left. He wanted more money because UFC's making all this bread, and he's like, nah, bro, give me some more of that. Justifiably so. He fought boxing, Tyson Fury, and he made what 20 some million, and then he fought Joshua and made another 20 or 30 million. So he said he
Yeah.
made in just one fight triple or double whatever he made in UFC. So I'm 100% screw legacy, feed your family and what you're
Right.
doing back home in Cameroon. I'm all for that, but he fought
Right.
Felipe Lins, and Felipe Lins is a glorified 205er who just moved up to heavyweight. And I kind of knew this fight was going to be, I mean, he hit him so hard. Lins had his arm out like this, like he was just falling asleep in school. You tired, just put your hand on the desk.
Mhm.
That's how Felipe Lins look. And Dos Santos,
Yeah.
when he
Hulk
got knocked out,
smash.
yeah, when Dos
Hulk
Santos got knocked out,
smash.
he looked like he was late for work when they woke him up. He's leg back, like, huh? Like, hey man, wake up, you at work. Like, it was
Yeah.
rough, man.
Hey, but you know the MMA fans, man, they want to see some blood, bro. They
Hmm.
trying to see somebody get separated from their life for a little bit, and they gonna give you all the energy you need in there. That's why
Bro.
I mean it
Hmm.
works. It's just you gotta you gotta pay people.
Yeah,
That's
I
it.
agree.
If you pay people with their worth and what they deserve, you wouldn't have any of these problems. But these motherfuckers are greedy. They don't. How much money is enough? Like if you can go and sit down at a blackjack table and bet a million a hand, Dana White, you got too much money, bro. You betting a
Hmm.
million a hand and you only giving your fighters 50,000.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, man.
That's why MVP, like these UFC fighters, um, UFC is kind of like WWE. Now they have the same ownership, TKO. Not to get into the wrestling bag, but they just cut the New Day, who's a big, tag team for WWE, because they didn't
Hmm.
want to take less money. And then one of the executives, Nick Khan, is making like 40 50 million that came out a year.
Hmm.
So you're telling your staff that we're cost cutting. We don't want to pay you this. We want to pay you that. We don't want to pay. So a lot of these people are just going to be on the fence. So that comes for another organization like AEW wrestling organization to get these stars. So that's what I think MVP is going to do. They're going to get these. You can get some of these I'm not going to say has-beens. Some of these MMA fighters that are long in the tooth but are still a name. You can showcase them and then showcase some of your younger fighters. Like their undercard has some decent young fighters, and the one fighter that I wanted to see was the French fighter Saladin Panasse. Yeah, Saladin Panasse, who fought right before Francis Ngannou. This guy, he's a beast in France. The only MMA was outlawed in France until 2020, and he's one of the top young good fighters. So I'm glad that the world could see him and stop dude with a body shot in the first round.
Right.
So that's one thing I'll say I was happy to see. But if they could do this and they could pull this off as far as having some names and have younger fighters and showcase their talents, because unlike the top rank card, Brian Norman did what he was supposed to do. This
Right.
card, we had every fight on the main card. It was what, one, two, three, first 4 round KOs, or stoppages, and one in the second round. So that is a card that everybody is going to want to see, something like that, because it's action packed. They don't want to go to
Absolutely.
a decision. So they did their job on that aspect. And just to even talk about Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano. Okay,
15, 17 seconds.
Ronda Rousey was, in my opinion, she was good when the competition was mid. Okay.
Okay.
I'm not taking away from what she's done. She's what she did, taking girls down, taking the arms, her ninth arm bars, first round stoppage,
Yep.
amazing.
Yep.
But when the competition started changing, when Holly Holm said, let me get part of this
Yeah.
stuff. When she couldn't take Holly Holm down, we saw what happened. Okay.
Hmm.
When she came back and fought Amanda Nunez,
Amanda
we
Nunez
saw what happened. And then
beats
she retired from
Vajre.
the sport. So
Yeah.
the skill level changed.
Yep.
Gina Carano, she is the reason why there's female MMA. She fought on CBS uh
Right.
long time ago, and then her last fight, she fought Cyborg, who Ronda Rousey don't want no part of. She lost to Cyborg, and that was her last fight 17 years ago. Gina Carano was
Right.
44. Okay.
Right.
She was out for 17 years. She tapped in 17 seconds. Okay.
Yeah.
You're added to the list. Sit your old ass down. I
Ooh,
love you, but love you
man.
like a play cousin. Sit your old ass down.
Yeah, but listen, bro. I have been watching Ronda Rousey since Strike Force, bro. Like
Hmm.
I watched all that stuff, man. And what I noticed about her is that she's a sore fucking loser.
Oh yeah, big time,
She's a sore
big time.
loser, right? Like all the girls used to look up to her and all this and that. When you go in there and you get your ass whooped, and then you can't just congratulate the other person, be like, hey, listen, she was a better person tonight, and come back, and then you was making all that bread, talking all
Hmm.
that shit, and then all the promotions. Oh yeah, she's better than Muhammad Ali, Bob Arum. She's better than Muhammad. Oh, she'll beat up Floyd Mayweather. The fuck you talking about, bro?
Bro.
You get what I'm saying? Like that shit is foul, man. You get some people like them and you put them at the head. Was she had like an Apple deal, like Gatorade?
Hmm.
Like I mean,
Movies. She
you
was in
just
Expendables.
yeah. You just see the difference in how they treat people. And for anybody that's paying attention, you guys are like, oh, you always pointing. Yeah, I'm gonna point this shit out because there are people who are
Point
more
at you.
deserving. There are people who are
Hmm.
more deserving of it. And then when we actually talk about trying to push them to the front, like look at Tierra Brown. Where are her sponsorship deals at?
Oh, she needs
Matter
to
of fact,
be
man, we can get.
front
Let me
page
say Tierra.
everything.
Yeah, let me say Tara to the side because she a real one.
She
Clarissa
is.
Shields, everybody know who Clarissa Shields is.
Hmm.
Even though she might not be the most presentable for or consumable for the everyday public,
Hmm.
she should have a statue built. She should be on the cover of all the magazines. She should have a Wheatie box, whatever kind of cereal boxes they doing now for people. She should have all that because she has the most accolades, damn near of any athlete in modern history,
You're
right? But you
this
don't. You,
your point. Not to cut you off, but I'm 1,000% agreement with Carissa Shields. What she's getting in Detroit, and I'm happy that they show out for her fights. She's making millions in
mhm,
that, selling out a woman, selling out Detroit, the
mhm,
Little Caesar Center. What they're doing for Katie Taylor in Ireland is what we should be doing with Clarissa Shields here in America.
100%. But
That's
it's
what I want
not
to say.
Ireland. Ireland is like the size of Hampton, Virginia.
Yeah, true, true, true.
They making Katie Taylor look like she's the best woman fighter of all times.
Yeah, they make her look like she
I
she.
mean, God,
They're acting like she
she's
brought
pound for
over a.
pound number one.
They're acting like Katie Taylor brought over an actual spice besides nothing that they have over there. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
that she came back with adobo or salt or pepper. You know,
yeah,
they are praising this woman. But I mean, don't get me wrong, Katie Taylor, shout out to her, but she knocked
yeah,
out that head. But
yeah.
I
Wrecking
just think
ball.
Clarissa Shields a wrecking
That's
ball.
what it is. Yeah, they use that forehead to knock down drywall. You know what I'm saying? You try to create some more space in the living room. We go, all right, we're gonna take this partition out with the Katie Taylor. That's what they call it, the wrecking ball, the Katie Taylor.
She be getting walnuts and around Christmas time, be crack. Just open them up just like that, huh? Macadamia nut cracker. But
Oh
yeah, like we
man.
should be. I would you like Chris Shields should have all you know, the hype that other people are treating other female fighters in other
They won't
countries.
even give her pound for pound number one.
No, they won't. They don't.
If any fighter that's out there, that Clarissa Shields should probably be on the males pound for pound list.
And let's not forget she did try MMA. And
Yeah. Oh, she
she's
did.
two and
She
one.
fought.
She's 2-1 at MMA. So
What more does she got to do?
she's up there. My with Ronda Rousey. I always been on my Facebook a long time ago. This was years. I had to find this, but I had over 100 comments with like friends and stuff talking about how they thought that she could beat up Floyd Mayweather, and I'm sitting there arguing with grown men, saying that Ronda Rousey can beat up Floyd Mayweather. I will never forget that. Like I thought I was in Twilight Zone. This is the height of Ronda Rousey. They're like, oh no, she could beat up Floyd Mayweather. Like what the fuck? What are y'all talking about? What are
Yeah.
you, Lord?
Critical thinking skills are just non-existent among people. That's why it's dangerous when you got these commentators that are actually feeding the casuals the
Hmm.
information to talk about. Like that's not good for the sport.
Not at all. And
What?
you got to be able to break that stuff down. And I thought MVP card was good for if you want action and you want blood. You wanted bam. This is my introduction to MMA, and I'm in shoot what other country they're in because and Netflix is global. This is the type of stuff you want.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't want to you didn't want to showcase somebody who's gonna be on the ground and pound submit. Ronda Rousey, she gets you on the ground, she's gonna take that arm. That's all she's gonna do. Gina Carano, she's a kickboxer. She's not gonna want to get on the ground. She even said it. I should not have picked a person that likes to fight on the ground. You knew that going in, but I knew this fight wouldn't last around. I had maybe a minute or minute and a half to Ronda get her down. I thought Ronda would try to play with standing up a little bit, but Ronda was never
She
good
know
standing
better.
up. Yeah, she's never
She know
good.
better.
Yeah,
And then
she took her down.
and then Vince McMahon. It's not like Vince McMahon and them over there got a policy against using steroids. Hmm.
Oh yeah. Well, they do.
So
They
what is
do. They
the?
actually do. They
Oh, they
do.
do.
Yeah, they do. They do. It's shockingly, it's because I only knew this guy used to be in wrestling big time back in the day. Um, Edge got in trouble for it. Triple H, some of them got in trouble for it, but there's ways around it. Obviously, they can.
Yeah, I mean he got his own. They,
Yeah.
they got the Vince McMahon files.
Oh yeah. I mean, Hulk Hogan had to
Yeah,
go on and snitch and say, "Yeah, we all are." I was like, "Damn, that's why they don't like you."
yeah.
But yeah,
Well, they
yeah,
got
they
the
they,
they
they
got
went to
the
court for that.
McMahon files. I'm talking about McMahon slash Epstein style. Yeah, he got his.
Oh yeah. Oh
Did
yeah.
you
That
see? You see
yeah.
the documentary? Yeah, and his wife is the Secretary of
Of
Education,
course.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
we're talking about a lot of money here.
he's likes to Number two, I'm not gonna get into
The
it.
Brock Lesnar's, the
Hmm.
Brock Lesnar's of the world. These people,
So
they're not playing fair.
they like to see
Speaking of
you
that,
number one. Yeah.
I did see a little bit of a news about Caroline DeBoy calling her brother out, maybe having a failed PED test.
No, don't tell me.
Bro, I don't know. I saw something briefly. I haven't had a chance to investigate, but it looked like Caroline was going in on her brother about,
Oh
possibly
no.
you. I mean,
I'll say
let
this:
me
if
let
it's
me find
true,
out.
if it's true, it will kind of explain because this is the heaviest he's ever weighed, and
Hmm.
his cardio never went down. His cardio never tapered that whole fight. Fabio, obviously, because the way he fights is all that weight, 1-2. But Du Bois, he was pretty much normal the whole way. Like his cardio didn't taper not one bit. Now, if it was something like that, I hate to think like that, but that's only kind of like okay, that's a
Yeah,
red flag right
Fabio was
there.
breathing heavy after the second round, like he was
Well,
gassed after the second round.
when you got that Star Trek: The Next Generation cranium, it's it's
But
a lot of energy to hold up. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
he a baby Klingon.
and you going against what you call him last week, Brontosaurus. the, the boys got the Brontosaurus
With that
joint, so
brontosaurus on it, nigga. Yeah,
it's yeah. But all in all, this was a great Saturday um,
yeah.
for combat sports fans. If you like the boxing, cool. Not many people probably did, but MMA showed out. I think MMA won this one, unless you watched. Was it Philip Horwich? I'm saying his name right. Horwich against Dave Allen out in London.
Oh, Hergovic.
Hergovich, yeah, in
Hergovic,
England,
yeah.
who Du Bois knocked out. Now, Dave Allen's like the normal guy just fighting, and he sells out a small soccer stadium. You know what I'm saying? Comes out to the Stone Cold music, but that fight was quick, second round knockout. But now they're saying
Yeah, he is a
Horgovich
punching
is going to
bag.
fight, huh?
He's a punching bag.
Oh, pretty much. Yeah,
Yep.
he's just he's just there, and they're saying Moses Tamu now for Horgovich, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch that.
Lunch meat.
I'll, yeah, that'd be a Tamu.
That's a
They're bringing Moses correctly. They're not trying to rush him. I'm just hoping that Caballero gets his chance at Usyk or somebody because that's a real body snatcher right there. Nobody wants to fight him.
Now Moses and Caballero
Ooh,
would be an incredible fight.
ooh.
Caballero's ready. I honestly, I mean, I feel like Frank Warren really missed an opportunity.
Hmm.
Moses Atama's ready, bro. He is. He's ready. He had an opportunity to become the youngest heavyweight world champion, and that's what he wanted. He kept saying, he's like, man, I want to become the youngest heavyweight world champion, and
Right.
he's getting rid of people. He still continues to get rid of people, and they really just missed an opportunity with him. I think he has more skills than Anthony Joshua. If we're being
Oh,
honest,
hands down. Yeah, hands
he
down.
has more skills than Anthony Joshua, and I think that he's their guy. He's the one they need to get behind because everybody else is just mid. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's what
Josh
it
was too
is, and
bulky.
yeah, just mid.
I
Um,
think I'm with you on that one for sure.
let's see what they said about the boy.
But
Yeah,
I think
man.
Moses, they're trying to showcase him a little more and get build up more of a fan base for him. I wouldn't mind seeing him fight. I see him in like what's his name Torres, the American
Okay. Yeah.
him meeting down the line because those are the kind of smaller heavyweights. Fa Ajabe, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, I can see him maybe fighting him if he doesn't get Horkovich. But I see him getting rid of like some type of American, holdover. I would love to see him and Big Baby. That'd be hilarious because the amount of shit talk Big Baby would do. But I can see them the way they're moving him. They're just trying. I think they just want to build his fan base.
And man, it's looking like the boy did fail the PED test.
Oh, it's out.
Ooh, man, that's a lot of stuff out here.
Oh no. Oh man.
There's a lot of stuff out there right now. Um,
Yeah.
Man, that went down as like one of the greatest heavyweight fights I ever seen.
Yeah, that was probably the
Uh,
best.
but see, so here we go again. We, England was trying to center themselves as the center place for boxing in the world, but
Hmm.
how many fighters under Eddie Hearn and Queensberry Promotions, how many of those fighters have popped dirty? You know what I'm saying? It's just there's a ridiculous amount of people who have popped dirty that were considered their stars.
Yeah.
They're
Was
stars,
was
bro.
Fury under them when he got popped? When he fought Klitschko? Was he them or was he?
I don't think
Or
he
you
was
talking
with
about
them
England in
yet.
general? Eddie Hearn
Yeah,
and
and
Matchroom
yeah, in
and okay,
general.
yeah, yeah, gotcha. Yeah, okay, so yeah, Fury was
But he was
one.
supposed to fight Canelo.
Yeah,
He had popped dirty. Uh,
because
Connor
Fury wasn't
Ben,
on
he was
Conor
one of
Ben, the
the
eggs.
more recent ones. There's a number of people. The
Amir
the
did Amir
guy,
Khan? No, not Amir Khan. The other one.
let me see, it was
The
another
one who broke his
heavyweight.
Terrence Crawford knocked him out and broke his orbital socket against Triple G.
Oh,
Earl Spence beat him in his own country.
yeah, the
Dude,
chocolate brownies dude. I can't remember his name, but
you
he's
know what
a
I'm talking
yeah.
about.
Give the chocolate brownies, like
Oh,
yeah. I don't know, man. It just seems like people are doing a lot of stuff to get ahead. You know,
well, the old saying is you're not cheating. You're not. Was it not trying if you're not cheating or some bullshit?
yeah,
Not cheating if you're not trying. I don't know. That's usually the saying. I I mm, I don't think that when it comes to the steroid stuff, I treat it like Barry Bonds to a certain extent. Like when it comes to certain sports with it, you can take the stuff in certain sports, but it's not gonna fix your hand-eye coordination. It's just gonna more get you stronger or help your conditioning. It's not gonna help you not withstand pain or anything like that. But when it comes to a combat sport, I'm a little different when it comes to steroids. I'm not as accepting, I guess, if you're taking it. But if you're doing like in baseball, I'm like, okay, I get it, but it's not going to make you a better baseball player. You know, you still got to have the skill to hit the ball out the park, or whatever. But that's just me. When it comes to fighting, nah, I can't. I
yeah.
can't.
I mean, if you ask me, I want to see track and field people use. Let them.
Yeah,
Let them juice to the gills. I'm trying to see how fast a human could run, how high they could jump, and how far they could, be. I'm trying to see that. I want to see
Kell
somebody run.
Brook.
Kell Brook, yeah.
Kell Brook. No, I mean you look at it like they got Shakari for weed, and they suspended her. I'm like that didn't make her run fast. Probably just made her want to go get something to eat. So I don't understand why they did that to her. But yeah,
Yeah,
man.
man.
I well, if you look at it like this, just to wrap things up, we had two debuts. We had the MMA debut of MVP, which was a gold star in my book, and then you had the top ranks, debut on the Zone Boxing, and it was a C. It was passing.
Yeah,
Oops. Yeah, it
two
was
and a half
passing.
to three, two and a half,
Yeah,
3 stars out of 5.
I would say showcasing their stars. Keyshawn did his thing, looked a lot better towards the end of the fight. Brian Norman did what Brian Norman was supposed to do, so
Yeah,
that was amazing. But as far as them trying to showcase anyone new or Kelvin Davis, I don't think that was a great showing for that. As far as showing the world, hey, these are new fighters, this is the future, or this is who we want to show. Hey, I want y'all to tune in next time they fight without a big headliner. Not so much, not so much. But, hey, I
yeah.
appreciate anyone. Oh, go my bad. Go ahead, brother.
Oh, you good? Yeah, you good.
Yeah, I'll just sign us out real quick. Anybody, if you tuned in, thank you. I appreciate you. Like, share, subscribe, add my man Papa Chuneo. He's popping on Instagram, okay? Get us on Instagram here, MySpace, Black Planet, Magenta, anything you think of, we're there. Even Christian Mingle. I got a couple pages
That's
on there.
funny. That's funny.
What's your man, Clubber D? Papa Chuneo, sign us out.
Yeah, man. This weekend there was a march in Alabama at the bridge where the civil rights thing happened, where Martin Luther King then walked over. There were a lot of people that even came from here that went down there.
Nice.
It was a kind of touching and inspirational. But again, like I said before, listen, man, you guys, the best thing that we can do for this country is to make sure that the people who are left out are taken care of. When you take
Hmm.
care of the people who are left out, things go tend to go a little bit better. You know, now if you think that billionaires are going to give a damn about you, me, and the next person, they don't. So figure out what you got coming, and know that God got us, and try to find a way to be friendly with people because there's a lot of tension out here right now, and I like to watch combat sports, but we don't need combat sports out here on these streets.
Facts.
So again, just just try to be kind to others. Try to be understanding of others' perspective. Don't gaslight them about the experiences they have, and let's kind of find a way to figure it out before it's too late.
A simple hello to a stranger goes a long way. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah,
walk by. Hey, how you doing? How's your day? That's
yeah,
all you gotta do. That might brighten someone's day. Saying hello to somebody. You never
that's
know.
right.
You never know. So just be nice to everybody out there. All right. And
Yeah,
one last thing. Brush your teeth. All right. We out. That was fun. That was
yes,
fun.
sir.
Yeah, man. So
It's still live.
up should have stopped. Yeah, it's spinning, spinning, spinning. Guess we're still live for 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. All right, let's refresh. This might boot you out. We'll see. And stop.